Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on the 6th day of August. Got the Bad New Yorker backstage here. Got a great show with you on for tonight. Going to ask him about the MLB trade deadline, get his thoughts on the Big Ten predictions. And, of course, we'll, like we said last week, we'll ask about the balls and whatnot and see what all's going on with everything, folks. Also, get our thoughts on these running backs getting big contracts here. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. So stand by. We'll take our first on the break and be back here momentarily and hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All right, we'll bring them back. Nice crowd tonight there, Carlos. Good to see you there, brother. Happy Thursday. News just broke today. Jahmyr Gibbs, extension 3 years. This running back from Detroit Lions, $67 million earlier this week. 3 years, $75-ish million for Bijan Robinson. Both of these running backs drafted in the same draft, 2023 draft. And I'll say this, I think they're worth every penny of that. We talked about this before. When you get these pass-catching running backs here, double the production. I was looking up some stats here. Average 17 touches a game for Jahmyr Gibbs, 19 touches a game for Bijan Robinson. You look at the highest rated receiver. By the way, these receivers up here making $40 million a year. Puka Nacua averages the most catches in the NFL, 8 catches a game. And these guys are out to make $35 to $40 million versus 25 to 23 for a running back. And you're getting practically twice the production, man. I think we may see a swing in NFL. There's a bubble on these receivers and these running backs doing dual threat there between rushing and catching the ball, and not to mention the fact that they can finish out games. What do you think about that take, and what do you think about those two extensions there?
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Thursday. It's a new month. You know, it's been crazy so far here in the summertime.
It's hot out here.
It's hot everywhere, bro. It's hot in the NFL. These extensions and contracts are coming out hot, right? So, you know, the funny part of these guys, Bijan was holding out, and as soon as he got the contract he wanted, that kind of set the precedent for what Jahmyr Gibbs was going to get. And then it just started, there was a trickle-down effect, right? Like we talk about economics, but the one guy that made this happen was the rookie who got drafted, and he signed that a college extent, that 4-year extension.
Oh, you're talking about the was it Love?
Yeah.
From the running back there who hasn't played it down yet for Arizona, Jeremiah. Was it Jeremiah Love?
Yeah. So his rookie deal was something that these guys were looking at and were like, wait a minute, the guys who haven't touched the ball shouldn't get more than us. So you know, and I'm glad that, you know, Jahmyr Robinson got his money and his deal, and then Gibbs gets his deal a couple hours after that.
Well, a few days, yeah. I think it was a few days ago. Now, you're right. I want to say it happened Monday night or Tuesday. Yeah. No, it happened Tuesday. Today's Thursday. 48 hours later, next running back gets his deal.
And so, but
I'd rather not pay these receivers personally. You see your AJ Browns of the world,
I'm
Stephon Diggs.
I'm trying to figure out like because Gibbs he's got. I'm not sure if he's a better back. I think he was the better back because he teamed up with Montgomery to get most of his stats the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Now that Montgomery's gone, he did have a great season last year, but like it wasn't the same. So but look, these guys are both about to be 25 next year. Robinson in January and then Gibbs in March. So
Yeah.
I would love to be a 25-year-old making about 23.5 a year. Like
Life would be good.
we would be different. We would have different lives right now. So
yeah.
Kudos to them. Kudos to the teams that are realizing that it's important to pay these guys. And they have to thank Saquon because Saquon started, between Saquon and that Love deal, rookie deal, those are things that make these contracts, the contract talk and speculation, made it better for that positional player. I feel like, to be honest, we always talk about this. I think a player should get paid per game for what they do. That's never going to happen, but at least these guys are going to be participating with their teams because now they got contracts, and so let them start doing what they supposed to do.
Yeah, you don't want them to start to miss a lot of camping.
Right,
they're getting ready for a new season. They're not quite up to par yet.
This would be my undernote, if any, and I don't try to be a negative Nelly or Sappy Sally, but when you sign that contract, usually that season, it doesn't turn out to be the best season after signing the contract, right? So
right,
you gotta be careful. So it's almost like having the Madden spell on you,
Yeah, a lot of times that happens to guys who hold out weeks into camp. Now I think we're about 2 weeks in. I think if they held out a little bit longer, maybe that'll be the case. But that does happen a lot to the guys that are holding out 2 or 3 weeks into camp. 4 weeks in a camp, miss a regular season game. They come in, they're not quite up to shape. They get a hamstring injury. It nags all year. And there's some fantasy players out here just totally just decimated by that injury. Okay. But, the other part of that is you look at these receivers. I was looking at the highest paid receivers. Jahmyr Gibbs, $40 million. Drake London, $35 million. Zay Flowers, Drake London, $35 million on the same team as $25 million Bijan Robertson there. Do you think that we're going to get to a point there? And I mentioned it with the receiver there out of Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Seattle. A few months ago, I would try to move off him and try to get a big package for him. Do you think that there's going to be a team bold enough to move off a big-time wide receiver when they come into their prime for that first contract and just try to roll the dice with the running back?
Yeah, the way it's looking, it all depends on the team dynamic, right? So you mentioned Njigba for Seattle. He's the man. Like, they moved on from a running back. They're not going to move on from a wide receiver now. So that's a different dynamic in Seattle. You mentioned Flowers. Flowers, Baltimore needs to make sure.
Yeah, they just paid Flowers too, by the way. The Ravens paid him, and that's the most they paid a receiver in a long time. Yeah.
That dynamic in the Ravens is now pay now, win now, because they got and I won't say aging like he's old, but rep wise, they got Henry, and then on top of that, they have Lamar Jackson, and they haven't been able to stay healthy within the season to make a prolific run. So that's a different dynamic. And then you mentioned Detroit, where Gibbs is at. Half of that. You sent me a clip of all the teams, like the whole team getting extensions or getting new deals.
Yeah, they want to win now.
I think they're trying to do something similar to what the 49ers had for 3 years in a row, where they had 3 guys on defense, 3 guys on offense that were kind of like trying to keep that camaraderie, that sync. You have the team sync.
Yeah.
And so, but this is football, man. And as much as you try to be a expert GM or you try to break things down, there ain't nothing that breaks anything down than the first injury you have in your superstar, and that's the guy you pay the most. So, I mean, you could try to do things, and you could try to, it's a copycat league, but you got to handle your in-house, and you got to figure out what's going on in your house. You can't just be like, oh well, the Chargers are doing this, and the Raiders are doing that, and like, and this is what Seattle does, and this is how they won the Super Bowl. You gotta be in your house. You gotta know what's going on, and you gotta be able to make things work. And this is why we always talk about when we bring things up about the draft and about picking up a lot of players, not just one player, because you need depth, right? So and look, if Seattle is with Njigba, if they think that all they need was to add some depth on their defense side because they have a few players leaving, and then got rid of the running back because they didn't want to pay that extension.
Yeah.
If they think that they have enough, then we don't really know what's going on over there. So maybe they do. And
now their running back wasn't one of those dual threat. You get to make this clear, folks. It has to be one of those dual threat,
right.
Christian McCaffrey in his prime type of players. It can't just be a one-trick pony guy.
Right.
Like he was. He's more of a power running back there.
Right. He's uphill
running
runner.
back that went to Kansas City up the lane.
Yeah, he's an uphill runner, and he was dependent on the O-line. He's dependent on the O-line making holes for him. He's dependent on having a smart quarterback. So he went to the right place, and he probably will make some noise there. But that's not the kind of running back that Seattle's used to having. You got to understand, Seattle, they have this mentality where they need 2 or 3 running backs. They like to switch it up.
They like to play that power football game.
Yeah, so, But everything in all these players and all these signings, it just depends on the dynamic of each and every one of those teams. And if some of these guys are trying to do a copycat of what Seattle's done to win, or what what the Chiefs have done to win, they really, it's really difficult because you have to look in-house and what you have. Yeah,
it is. That's a good point there. Switching gears, just a quick take. Did the Yankees do anything or lack thereof it in the MLB trade deadline? What's your thoughts on that?
Man, I was listening and watching some stats, and it's been almost 10 seasons, man, 10 years that the Yankees haven't moved on getting a closer or moved on getting a deeper bullpen. And that's, to me, just crazy. And it just seems like that they've had opportunity upon opportunity. They could have got the Weaver back from the Mets. They could have made a move on this guy Skubal. I mean, they could have done a few things because they can. This is the Yankees. This is a team that can, and they, it's not. I'm not going to say that they don't have an opportunity to come out and be a prolific team to get to a playoffs. But if they do get to a playoffs, I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be a fight to the end, with these two, with Tampa Bay doing what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay made more moves than the Yankees did, and that surprised me because I felt like Tampa has a good team right now. So, and I felt like they didn't want to make that chemistry. In baseball, you have to have good chemistry and good teammates, and I didn't think they would want to mess that up. But they made a few deals. They thought and they think that they're getting better, which they did make some good moves. But the Yankees, man, I just.
Do you see anybody that's got a leg up from this trade deadline that's going to put them in a World Series bubble?
Everybody's talking about the Dodgers, but they haven't won since they made any trades. So, and the problem with the Dodgers that I think a couple, like a lot of people are missing is that Ohtani's semi-hurt. They have pitchers that are coming back from injuries. And it's going to be what they got, like 50 some more games or 40 some more games.
That'll go by quick though.
Yeah, to the playoffs, and these guys need to get healthier. But I think they did a great job knowing that their depth, even though they're deep, that they're not strong, and they're building, and they built up their team to be, catastrophic, like win now, and just kudos to that organization. They've always went out and tried to draft well. They went out and always try to make good trades to benefit them, and they've been like that for the last 8 years now. That they've
Yeah.
been on top of the game, and their GM over there makes moves, man. He makes moves, and he makes them smooth, man. Because they don't as much money as coming out of those contracts. They don't lose that much more money because they're always in the playoffs and they're winning. So, kudos.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. I like the Cubs this year, though, man. They seem to got the better of them the other day. Milwaukee's playing great.
Milwaukee. Yeah,
I don't think the Dodgers are going to do it this year. They look a little sluggish.
I feel bad for Atlanta. Atlanta tried to pick up DeGrom.
Okay.
And DeGrom, news out here is that Jacob DeGrom, former Met pitcher, but now playing for Texas Rangers, like he vetoed that. He said no, he didn't want to go to Atlanta, which I was surprised at.
Wow, yeah, Atlanta's playing great, man. Yeah, Atlanta looks like they've gotten back in. They seem to went to a slump now. Atlanta lets me down every year. They always seem to fold in the first round more often than not.
I think on as far as DeGrom's looking, I think he sees that there's not enough depth there, and that even if they'll be in a position to be in a playoff, he don't want it to be because the Atlanta can't win because of pitching. So I think he put himself in a position where he's like, you know what, I'm in Texas, no stress. If anything goes wrong, different, it's a team thing. He wants it to be a team win, and look, there's a lot of pressure on Skubal. There's a lot of pressure on these guys who are the Dodgers now to perform at a high end because these are high end moves. So
got them moves like Jagger. You know something? It's going to be interesting. Baseball's kind of been on the back burner over the summer with the World Cup being so hyped.
Yeah, and can I say something? So like all the birds are chirping. Owners already spoke out about it. More than more than 3/4 of the owners are already talking about they're ready to shut it down.
Shut it down and put a hard cap in.
Yeah, well, I don't know about put it a cap, but we've talked about this now for 2 years. Like these contracts keep getting out of hand. And I take this kind of perception and this take to it. It's like if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. If you're an owner and you don't got much more money, or you don't think this is the business that's going to make you money, or you're going to use money to make your organization better, man, just get out and sell the team.
Me too, man. That's what I think about certain NFL teams owners.
Yeah, same, because here's the thing. Right now,
there definitely needs to be a cap and a floor. A floor. You have to spend a certain amount of money, or you got to get out of the league.
Robert, they got Southeast Asia, and with the Japanese and Korean and Chinese players here in the MLB. They're growing the sport in Italy. They're growing the sport in all these in the Netherlands. The MLB is right now starting to peak. For the owners of the MLB to say that they don't want another year next season because they don't feel like they're getting enough money, they're gonna ruin one of the best things coming out since they came back from the.
And it took a big hit for about a year and a half there. A few years after we had that really bad 94 lockout strike or whatever you want to call it. Remember that? We missed the World Series that year.
I mean,
listen,
I want to see people who want to have a team. Give them to these musicians and artists who want to spend millions of dollars or billions of dollars. Give Bezos a team. There's a lot of people.
When is the current contract up
for
MLB? When is the current collective bargaining agreement up?
I think it's after next season. But
I know the Athletic's been writing about this a lot. I just ain't looked into it.
Yeah, I mean it's
okay.
I'm here in New York, and this is what MLB is. Their main office is, and everybody's been.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So
and the NFL's as well is up there in New York.
Well, NHL, NFL, and MLB are in their home office. But I just like as a sports fan, listen, guys, like we spend money, and we spend money to watch it. We spend money on merchandise. We spend money tickets. Let the game be the game. If you're an owner now, I wish owners would watch some of the stuff that us fans talk about.
It's annoying.
Now, this is the time to sell. Get out. If you can't or you don't want to anymore, get out, please. Leave
You
the game
know,
alone.
the NBA is getting a lot like the NFL. You're seeing guys like Wembanyama take pay cuts to keep this team together. LeBron takes a really low salary to be competitive with the 76ers. You're seeing the Celtics move off of Jaylen Brown mainly because of money, because they can't pay him and who's the other guy? Brown and what's the other one's name? The light skin guy. Tatum. Yes, excuse me. So you're starting to see it. I like that. That being said, there's still going to be bad teams because you got bad ownership and you've got bad management. See the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm trying to think what I should get to first. Okay, you know something? I talked to Big Ten on Monday.
Yeah.
And my Big Ten championship game is Indiana's going to get back against Ohio State. Ohio State will beat Indiana. They play in the regular season at Indiana. Excuse me. Indiana will beat Ohio State at home this year. They rematch. Ohio State will beat them in the rematch in the Big Ten championship and go on and play in the playoff. But Indiana will figure out a way because they made it to the championship game like Alabama did. Like I'm saying, Texas will do. They'll get into the playoff. I'm looking at Oregon right now, and I'm thinking, man, Oregon may have something to say about that. But Oregon's got practically a whole new offensive line. That's the only concern I have with Oregon. Their defense is very good. We know about Dante Moore, very good coaching, a lot of money in Oregon. What do you think about the Big Ten championship game? How do you see that playing out? That's a big conference.
Yeah, a lot of the college coaches have Indiana like slated 5 or 7 in the top.
Yeah,
top and I'm kind of.
They're underrated, right?
Yeah, I'm
what
not,
national championship comes in that low?
Yeah, and I'm
They're 6 in the coaches poll.
Yeah, I'm perplexed for this reason alone, is because this is the best coach in college football in the moment. He had done the best.
X is an old guy, man. He's money.
He had done the best with the 2, 3, and 4-star players that they had at Indiana. Like, he got the best out of them, and now he got returning half of his class, and on top of that, he got in recruits that are 5 stars. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, you lose your quarterback, but
they have an experienced quarterback from TCU coming in.
I mean,
you know,
here's my question about this quarterback. Do a lot of coaches think that he's that much of a drop off from Fernandez that they got this guy, and they don't think that he'll be able to be as competitive?
That's a good question.
You know, because all the coaches got to look at this guy from TCU before he went to Indiana. Like, all of them got to, and all of them got to bait him to come to their school. But is he that far much of a drop as a college quarterback that they don't think that he'll be able to help Indiana be successful?
And Indiana has a favorable schedule.
Yeah,
for a championship team, it's so. They've got Ohio State at home this year,
So
and they don't play anybody for the first month.
And then on
so
the flip side,
Nitty's going to have to keep these guys motivated.
Yeah, and on the flip
so
side,
they won't get bored.
On the flip side of the question I have is, everybody, all the coaches and scouts are saying that Dante Moore, he's the man, and he's going to be able to carry this Oregon team to the playoffs. And they all got to see him. Everybody knows who he is. So
yeah,
is he as good as Gabriel was, or even better?
Well, I think he'll be better than Gabriel.
Right. So
he's already projected to be drafted higher. He was projected to be possibly the number 2 pick last year.
Right.
He just didn't want to go to the Jets.
Yeah.
It's about Dante Moore.
Yeah, Dante Moore. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Unless they can prove this the coaches and scouts can prove this otherwise, my argument is that Oregon will win the Big Ten. Ohio State will come in second. They both will be in the playoffs. and they might have to meet each other in the middle of the playoffs.
Who do you have in the Big Ten championship?
I have Oregon versus
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oregon. I just flipped to their schedule here now. Oregon, luckily for them, their toughest game. Now, USC is supposed to be much better this year.
Right, yeah.
Lincoln Riley, there's an outside chance, folks. He could get fired. They can underachieve again, and USC could do that. USC's got a very good quarterback. We know they're going to have a good offense. They always got a good offense. Okay, Oregon will play at USC September 28th. Now, the only issue is Oregon's offensive line. We'll see how well it plays. That gives Oregon, Boise State, Oklahoma State, who's totally rebuilding, Portland State. I mean, that's three pretty easy games, except for maybe at Oklahoma State. But, Oklahoma State just fired their coach, and we don't know what they're going to be, but I don't think they're built up that much. So, basically, they got 3 warm-up games, and they play at USC on the 28th. If USC beats them, which I think they could, then they have a bye week, and they have that loss. They also have to play at Ohio State, and I think Ohio State's going to win this game, November 7th. Mm-hmm. And then they got Michigan the next week. So I'm thinking maybe they can lose to Michigan, Ohio State. They have the 2 losses. Ohio State has the tiebreaker. Ohio State's going to go to the championship game, but Oregon will still find a way to slip in, okay? They'll finish well, and they'll slip in with 2 losses into the playoff, and Indiana will play Ohio State in the playoff. That's kind of how I see it playing. I'm not sure if it's going to play out that way because maybe these new starters play well for Oregon, and they only have 1 loss,
Right, and then on top of that, maybe Indiana plays worse because they don't have a quarterback that can carry them.
Yeah, maybe he's not Fernando Mendoza, and they lose some close games. Going back to Indiana, it's ridiculously easy. Kind of makes you think maybe this is why Cignetti's talking all this trash about the SEC, because Indiana's schedule, folks, North Texas, week 1, Howard, week 2, Western Kentucky, week 3, Northwestern at Rutgers. We're talking October, man. October 3rd. They play a decent opponent at Nebraska on October the 10th. They could take a whole month off, and then they have Ohio State at home, and I think they'll beat Ohio State, but then they play at Michigan. They could potentially lose that game. They could potentially lose that game because they're coming off that big high playing Ohio State, the tough 2 games in a row.
Right.
And they got USC at home, at Washington. They could lose at Washington because that's after the USC game. But then they play Purdue. So they could potentially be undefeated in the regular season. That would be crazy because they went 16-0 last year. And then you have, 12 games now? So they would be 28. I mean, that would be a heck of a storyline right there if they went undefeated during the regular season. They're going to slip up somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they can pull like an Alabama and just even if these games are close, they'll win them? I feel like
they'll slip, but this schedule is ranked. What does he have it ranked? 24th in the country, and they just won a national championship. Ohio State's is 5th. Texas is number 1.
This is why I question these coaches and scouts who are making who prognosticating, making this chart of the top 25 teams, is that they know the schedule. So if you play a weak schedule, it doesn't make you a better football team if you win all those games.
Right.
It helps you keep that confidence because you're winning games, but it doesn't make you a better team.
Yeah, and Phil Steele has them 10 starters back from last year, but they have 17 starter-level players back, 17 out of 22. What does that 17 number mean? Those are other transfer players who were starters on other teams that became starters on this team. In other words, he's saying that those transfer guys are going to be able to play at a very high level, at a starter's level. They're not a bunch of kids that have just started. So,
right, but
Mendoza was one of those players last year.
Right, but are they 3-4 players and not 4 or 5 players?
Yeah.
Because they transferred in, right? Because that makes a huge difference. Because Ohio State, they got 5-star players 3 deep.
Right.
Michigan has 5-star players 3 deep. Wide receiver, running back, cornerback, like you name it.
Yeah.
On almost every position, and they're 5-star player deep. Now, their age gaps, because you got freshman, sophomore, or you got the junior, the
right. Junior. Some of these guys may be 22 years old.
Right. So I think where Indiana has the expectations, because they know that these guys, even though they're 3-4-star players, they are older. They've won a national.
That's why I think they're going to probably get back to the championship game.
But see, this is a tough situation for them, because we've seen this.
We saw this in basketball with Michigan.
Well, we saw this with Utah. Remember, Utah was the oldest team 3 years in a row and just could barely get into those bowl games and get into a playoff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, they had some really low end players. And that's another thing. Cal Whittingham now is the coach of Michigan. Yeah. Michigan had a pretty decent team last year. I know we had some crazy stuff happen with the coach there, but they were pretty decent. They had a true freshman quarterback. So, folks, if we're talking Big Ten here, they're a total wild. I don't know. Underwood's a very talented player out of high school. He struggled last year. I expected him to struggle. He was a true freshman last year.
Right.
This Underwood, which was the starting quarterback there last year. Now you've got Kyle Whittingham there, a disciplinarian coming over from Utah with much better talent to deal with at Michigan now. So we'll find out. I think in week 2, they play Oklahoma. We'll find out how good they are. Some books are saying they're going to be favored in that game.
Yeah.
Although I think Oklahoma will win it. I'm getting ahead of myself, but
No, because you got Michigan all the way down at 16 in the top in the coaches poll.
Yeah, so that tells you that there's some respect there. Now the AP is a much more reliable poll, like Paul Feinbaum said. That will be out in 2 weeks, so you can change your predictions between now and then.
Right.
And of course, we'll do that show. We'll do the playoff show, of course, and pick a national championship.
Well,
you still got to talk Notre Dame at some point,
Listen,
They're coming in with a lot of hype. I'm already telling you that right now from what I'm hearing.
How about this? Like, if you look at the picture you sent me,
yeah,
and we'll go off of the information that we were going to discuss today, and we're talking about. I think that on the coaches poll, that Notre Dame is too high. Indiana can flip Notre Dame and put Indiana, Miami ahead.
Oh, that's Bill Moore material for Kirk Cinetti. That Notre Dame is ranked higher than they are.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that they don't have a good program, man. I'm just saying they had the best opportunities on national TV to do things and were unable to seal the deal last year.
They lost to A&M and they lost to Miami last year.
And look, and they lost to 2 teams that they're ranked ahead of this year on the coaches poll.
Yeah.
So I think put Notre Dame where A&M is at and move all those other teams up. And maybe, again, I got to know what he's going to do for these 2 days.
I think he's going to play great this year. I
hope so.
Yeah.
But if not, I see him sliding. I see this Texas team slide into 6 and move up the other teams. All these teams are quarterback. They quarterback dependent and defensive dependent. So Notre Dame.
Well, no, CJ Carr, folks, is getting a lot of hype. He's the grandson of Lloyd Carr, national championship coach of Michigan back in '97. Charles Woodson, that's his grandson there. I want to say he had like 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He supposedly had this great offseason. They got a lot of players back on defense. They're supposed to be national championship. I mean, Colin Coward's picking them to play for the championship this year. Yeah. There's some hype on the quarterback, maybe a pretty high draft pick next year as well. So, it's a lot coming on for Notre Dame. I guess I can look up their schedule now that we're talking about them.
I can see Notre Dame's quarterback be drafted in the top 5, but I can't see that quarterback bringing them to a national championship. Is that fair to say?
Well, I have to look and see. I have not broken them down.
Because the quarterback play.
They always seem to catch a break every year on the schedule, man. That's why they need to get in the conference.
This quarterback play he could be awesome, but if that defense slacks, like they did last year against A&M, and gave them that opportunity.
That was a good game last year. A&M beat them at the very end.
I mean, listen, you can't blame quarterbacks for losing games if the defense is not being balancing your team.
Notre Dame's like out in the middle of nowhere, as far as like this book is concerned, because they're not in a conference.
Because they're not in a conference, right?
Yeah, 206.
You got to look for them on.
Michigan had 4 losses last year with a true freshman quarterback. I mean, Michigan could be good this year, man. It's just 11 stars. I mean, they've got. Yeah, we'll see.
They need to surround this guy with. I'm hoping that wide receiver core and that running back core for Michigan is in the top 3, because that quarterback needed so much help last year, man.
Yeah, he did. And I don't know. See, we talk about these older players. He's still a pretty young guy. He's only a sophomore. And that coach he plays he's more of a defensive coach anyway.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to be killing it, per se.
They'll run that Army wishbone if they had to.
Da, 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 da. Maybe I'm starting to think about Rudy now. I turn to the golden page here, Notre Dame. Okay, Notre Dame, September 6th, they play Wisconsin. And then 2 weeks, they got Rice, then Michigan State at home, at Purdue, at North Carolina. I mean, this is a powder puff schedule. It's 66 nationally.
Whoa.
This is according to Phil Steele. They do got Miami at home on November 7th. At BYU, they were decent last year.
Right.
North Carolina's not going to be a big threat to them.
No.
SMU may be a threat to them on the 21st. That's Southern Methodist, which is in the ACC, at Syracuse. I mean, this is just, they're going to lose probably maybe one game. They may go undefeated. And they got 9 starters back from last year on defense.
So listen, like this coach's poll, like there's something these coaches and these scouts got that we don't got, because if Notre Dame got a 66 ranked schedule, they ranking them at number 5 on the chart that you gave me, the coaches poll, and then you have Indiana that has would you say 24th in the nation? Yeah,
it's a lot more difficult. They got to play Ohio State.
Yeah, like they got this all tip top, and they got to know something. They have to know something, right?
Yeah,
I guess
I do like this coach, but they do have a tendency to lose to teams they're not supposed to.
I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I'll tell you what, some games I'm like, all right, you're going to take this because they're up 14-0, and all of a sudden you go get some nachos, take a break, or put something in the washing machine, come back, and they already tie game.
Yeah.
Like we saw the A&M game, we thought the A&M was going to lose in the first half. We're like, oh, no, they look terrible.
That was a good game, man. But they beat A&M the year before that at A&M. So that, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, he's in his 5th year. I mean, the NFL's coming after him. He's played in the national championship game. He finally beat Georgia. Notre Dame couldn't beat Georgia before. They did lose Jeremiah Love, but they've got so many players. They've got 7 starters back from last year on offense. They've got 9 defensive guys. One starter levels. Basically, got 10 defensive players out of 11 back on defense. They got one good transfer there, and he's recruited well. And then they play this powder puff schedule. No wonder teams are crying about Notre Dame.
How about this? We'll put the focus on Notre Dame. We'll talk about them first when we do the college show.
Yeah. No, you brought up Notre Dame. It had me thinking about them because a lot of people's hyped on them. Now back to Michigan, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who. I'm trying to think.
To be a top 10 team, man, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. And you got your record, your schedule is 66 or 64 amongst other schools.
Like Michigan is number 2. They got to play Oklahoma week 2. They got to play Penn State, Ohio. Of course, they play Ohio State at Oregon. You know, that's why I think Michigan's going to come up short.
Look. How about this?
Indiana.
Okay, out of this poll, what I'm not digging is that they have Alabama over Michigan, and then
Alabama will probably be starting a true freshman as well. So
yeah, and then check this out, and then they have the audacity to say that the SEC is no longer the powerhouse conference. So if it's no longer the powerhouse conference, why you still got Michigan down at 16 and Alabama at 11?
Well, because Alabama's had some really good recruits. Oh, by the way, BYU. Now, I will say this: BYU is 15th. So, coaches poll saying they do play Notre Dame. So, Notre Dame's got Miami, BYU, and SMU. Everybody else is powder puff. You know,
this gonna be
Notre Dame should go to the SEC or Big Ten.
Yeah, no more. We don't need them in the
No, SEC is hard enough. There's too many bruises.
I feel like they were the way that they are where they're located, the way the team is, they would fit better in an ACC or a Big Ten.
Yeah, probably ACC. It would really help the ACC. Yeah. That would be nice. So I do think Oregon's going to make it. I do think that Ohio State's going to make it, and I think Indiana will lose the championship game. So that's 3 teams out of the Big Ten that I think will make it. Do you think Indiana will make it to the playoff?
Yeah, I think they'll make. I think the 2 teams that I'm ragging about that I feel like should be slated lower this year, Texas and Indiana. I don't know what to expect from the Indiana new quarterback, and I really hope Archie starts off strong in Texas. But if he doesn't, I can't. I'm sorry, but your season is dependent on your quarterback being consistent. Yeah. So I can't just be like, he's going to do good. Because last year he did okay. And again, last year he had there was another quarterback starting, and then he would come in or they would flip-flop. So, does Texas have another quarterback they can flip-flop Arch if he's having a bad day? Like, are they going to do that?
No, if Arch don't do it now, he's just overrated and not going to get it done. I mean, he's got Cam Coleman, this really, really good receiver transfer from Auburn, and he's also got a very good running back.
That running back transfers.
Hollywood Devers. You're going to hear that name a lot.
Woof.
He gets you hyped saying that name Hollywood.
Put that on the sign, bro, and sell it because that's
Hollywood up to no good.
From in Austin, Texas, bro.
They're going to be running the rock. Took a guy to Austin Airport this morning, and he was pretty hyped up about the Texas Longhorns. Okay. Something I mentioned Tennessee as being a possible sleeper team. That may have been some orange and white sunglasses.
It's tough, man. I've been watching that orange and white practice stuff, and I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah. And, I thought about you this afternoon when you called me back when you were when you transferred to Tennessee. Do you recall when Brett Schaefer and Eric Ainge were splitting the snaps and all that and bringing one quarterback in part of the game, then the other I got a feeling this situation with Tennessee is going to be like that this year. And it's going to be kind of a growing pains kind of year, although they got a very good coach there in Heupel. I just got a feeling that's going to be the situation down in Knoxville with this Brandon. I think is it McIntyre. and of course Faison Love, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find Tennessee's schedule here, but it looks more like they're going to lose 4 or 5 games. I just cannot be drinking the Kool-Aid like that. I don't know what I was thinking, man.
No, you know what you're thinking is that defense is still pretty good. And
yeah.
The problem is that, again, just like Indiana, just like Alabama, you got to find a quarterback that you think can carry.
Because their line is supposed to be really good. Their offensive line is going to be
right.
Good.
So,
and they got very good skill players this year.
Yeah, and
if what I'm reading.
And I think they got another running back from the track team again, which last time they did that wasn't a bad deal. So you listen, Tennessee, man. Like I'm not thinking.
Faison Brandon is the guy's name. He looks like a starter, a big time player. He's got the look, but I don't know if he's got the touch yet. And then the other guy's name is George McIntyre. And Phil Steele's projecting the freshman to get the start. But, I could see him making freshman mistakes, and this other guy's got 1 year in the system, this tall, lanky kid, this McIntyre kid, and I could see him pulling. By the way, listen, I think Tennessee could potentially lose to Georgia Tech in week 2, man. I mean, it's at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And I know that Coach Carroll's don't think so, but he has an orange and white hat on when he comes on the program. So and I love you,
you know how I say when you go from Tennessee, you bleed orange and white, man. And
you just want to put that spin on. And Tennessee, listen, they got the new defensive coordinator, and they got the new strength and condition. Is that going to come all to fruition in one offseason? I don't know.
Yeah, I will say this: the Georgia Tech game will be a field goal game. They're going to win or lose by a field goal.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because when Georgia Tech plays an SEC team, they go all out the first two halves of the game, man. They go all out. And Tennessee has the potential to do bigger and better things, but they have to. You have to play the game. At the end of the day, you got to be in it. You got to be in it to win it. And I think that game is critical for them to build a confidence and move up from that game. If they lose that game, you're right. They're going to lose 4 or 5 games, man.
It's going to be a Brett Schaefer, Eric Ainge run around, do play crazy.
Again, that was the same year that Auburn had Cadillac Williams and this guy Trent Campbell, Ronnie Brown, Cadillac, and Campbell. So
and remember, Tennessee was fighting like nobody's business to get Sam Levitt, who went to LSU. They were trying to get the guy that played last year to stay over. And remember, he lost the court battle there. It would be nice if Nico would have stayed. But that none of Aguilar. If they would have kept Aguilar, I would have had a totally different output. That being said, listen, defense, 7 players coming back from last year. They're going to be better coach. They're going to be better condition. They're going to have a better running game. They're going to have better offensive line.
Yeah,
but all that being said, they got to play at A&M, at Vanderbilt, at Georgia Tech, at South Carolina, who's got a prospect there. That Lenore Sellers can also be a high draft pick. So. They could lose that South Carolina. They probably will lose that South Carolina game. I hate to say that.
If you are a Tennessee fan, don't get the punching bag. Get the punching kicking bag, because you're going to be punching and kicking all season. And if you ain't got no hair, you best wrap these claws up, because you're going to be trying to pull out hair out of your head, man.
If they win 9 games like Michigan did, that would be a successful season to me. Now that I really think about it, that would make them 9-4, meaning they go, they win their bowl game or whatever.
When we do the college show, we'll see what games that they win, and hopefully they get those 9 games.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Like I said, I think they'll probably lose that Tech game. They're going to lose to Texas. That's 2 losses. They're probably going to lose at South Carolina.
We got to give them wins.
A&M, LSU. So that's 4 or 5. I mean, Yeah, it don't look good. And we can do, like you said, if you want to just wait off and give your prediction on that show, hopefully we'll do that a few days before the probably that Thursday before the season starts off after week 0, because week 0 is just a bunch of nonsense anyways. I think North Carolina plays on week 0.
We should start then. That night or that day or
Not
before
week 0. That week 0 ain't nothing, man.
Yeah, but we should do the show before then. That way, you know.
Yeah, I mean we can. I just have to see.
What day is that? Isn't that next week?
Let me see who's playing in that thing here. I want to say North Carolina plays, but are you going to put them in the playoff? I'm not putting North Carolina in the playoff.
North Carolina.
TCU, you put TCU. I'm not putting now USC. You can maybe put them in there, but they're playing SUSU, San Jose State University. I mean, if they lose that game, I mean they may fire Lincoln Riley after week 0.
That game's going to be tight.
Now, Florida State does play New Mexico. I mean, there's no really big games on here in week 0 except for Carolina and TCU. I don't have neither one of them teams in it. Now, that would be on September 29th.
But people are going to watch that Carolina game.
You know what? Thursday the 3rd. We could do a show on that Wednesday if you want to. September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Yeah. If you want to do one that day, that would be all right, man. I'll have to rearrange my schedule, but it's all good. It's all good in the hood, man.
I mean, you want to do it that weekend. What is better for you, the weekend?
The weekend prior to it. It's rough for me doing it on the weekend because I like to work a lot extra.
You can do a Monday night.
Yeah, I do a thing on Monday. Maybe. Yeah, I'm usually off Monday night.
You call your buddies and see if they want to do it on Monday
night. No,
I
doubt they want to do it. They don't want to get smoked again.
Nah, man. Don't say that.
I'll ask Richard if he wants to. If they want to do a show on Monday night, if he wants to do that. But definitely me and you can do one. We'll record one. And I've kind of got a good idea where I want to go with this thing. I haven't looked at the Big 12, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Big 12. I think it's Big 10, a couple ACC teams in the SEC, and I'll have to study. And, of course, Notre Dame's probably going to get in there, 66 ranked schedule with all those players coming back.
Can you imagine?
They lose one game, and they'll probably get in. But if they lose 2 games out of that schedule, if they lose to SMU and Miami, they do not deserve to. I would put a 3-loss SEC team, since they're playing non-conference game, or a strong Big 10 team over Notre Dame, wouldn't you?
Isn't this what happened last year, though, when they were crying about the bowl game?
Yeah, and then, Miami should have got in over them, and Miami went to the national championship. We were right about that. They were playing better They claimed that they were playing better football, but Miami beat them at home. They beat them in the regular season. And, hey, listen, you lost the 2 games. Miami beat you head-to-head. There's no excuse. And then Miami got all the way to the national championship with the veteran quarterback. You know, so.
And that Miami team, they almost had some daylight, man.
I have to study them. I haven't even studied Miami yet. I haven't even studied that. Well, I've studied the ACC, but I haven't really dug into Miami as being as far as a playoff bracket per se. Miami's going to be in there as well. So, yeah.
Their defense don't look like it slowed down at all. I was watching something the other night. And I was like, holy smokes. Some of those guys.
I haven't even asked you about the ACC. I should get your prediction on that one, too, at another show.
Yeah,
we can do that on maybe next week. I don't know.
Those D linemen look like they in the 3rd-year Chargers team or something. Those guys.
Yeah, hey, man.
Holy mackerel.
That coach down there is a great recruiter, man. He's got an eye for talent. I've been telling you.
He been stealing some of them Louisiana kids, and I'm like,
yeah,
them guys, and they play hard, man.
Yeah, and he's got some guys in the NFL right now. They got drafted pretty high. Our guy that went to Tampa. So, anything else you need to plug before we wrap it up?
No, right now I'm just trying to get everything organized, man. It was a tough month last month, and I am heading to San Francisco in a few weeks. So,
for what? Pokemon?
Yeah, man, the World Championship.
Yeah, keep us
my son is,
updated, man.
He's not competing in that tournament, but he'll be competing in some of the side tournaments, and we're going as a spectators. So
Oh, spectator. Okay.
yeah, and
I
it's
thought
my
you were gonna say as a
little
plus
girl's
one.
birthday that weekend, so we're gonna try to just spend a day out on the West Coast, you know, and then just maybe catch a ball game. I don't know.
You taking the Karate Kid to other tournaments there?
Yeah,
Daniel's son.
I'm in there like focus. Yeah, no, but it's fun. Get spend time with the family and.
Appreciate you, Kathy.
Yeah.
All right, Mad New Yorker, keep me updated. That sounds like fun, man. All right, man. I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Okay, folks, if you like the show, share the show. Please subscribe to my channel there if you have not. And, of course, I'll see you Monday here on the Real Sports Scope. Have a good night, everybody.